Nice. Let me share this. What up, y'all? So, I'm live. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how the data connection is on my phone. It's the first time I'm trying this on my phone out here, but the weather is too nice. And so I decided to get out here and just go ahead and do it live. Now, this right here, this needs to stop. I don't know how you can change this white balance. It's like up, down, up, down, up, down. Nope, sure can't change it from here. So, anywho, to the topic, helping the helpless. You know, comes from a specific situation, but I've been dealing with this for quite some time in terms of like talking about red pill and Muslims and Islam and everything. And the fact is, there is too much culture amongst the Muslims to actually be of benefit to the Muslims and help them with red pill information. Now, this doesn't have to stand true. Were the Muslims to just follow Islam, we wouldn't have a lot of problems. We definitely wouldn't have a bunch of terrorists. But when we talk about like red pill information, if dudes would just deal with the facts of Islam as opposed to like their emotional feels and their entire culture, which is I guess a bit difficult and almost impossible to ask them to surrender their culture that they were raised with, then we'd have less problems in general in the Ummah. But let's talk about this. Most of what I talk about comes from personal experience because I find it a little bit difficult to talk about an experience in a situation and teach a lesson from something that I haven't experienced. I don't know how you can do that. I think there's something called the Kruger-Dunham effect or something like this. How do you speak about something that you haven't experienced? I don't know. Maybe it's possible, but it's like me going talking to women and telling them about like what it's going to be like in the third trimester. You're going to feel this pressure in your gut. This is a Bill Burr joke. It's like I can't tell women what it's going to feel like to be pregnant because I haven't experienced it. And life is like that. You shouldn't really be talking about things that you haven't experienced. A large percentage of my material, of the vast majority of it, 99%, is firsthand experience. It's firsthand. This isn't stuff that I learned from someone else. This isn't stuff that someone else taught me. And if I do speak secondhand, then it's from directly this person dealing with a situation, like I do one-to-ones. So when I'm talking to guys on one-to-one in a new situation, I'm like, okay, I get the entire background. What's going on? What was the lead up to this? What was the situation? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, did you try this? Did you try that? What's going on? Then we take a course of action, step by step, to start, seeing, can we lead her out of this behavior? Can we lead her into a different behavior? What's her reaction to something simple? What's her reaction to something complication? Saying we can't hear you. Uh-oh. Can you hear me now? I can't type here. Hey, give me like a one if you can hear me. Oh, you can hear me now. Okay, good. Maybe it was the position of my hands on the bottom of the phone. So anyway, these secondhand lessons that I'm getting, I'm dealing with dudes one-to-one. But otherwise, the vast majority of my lessons are firsthand. This is because I've been married to multiple women multiple times. Now, it's a bit difficult to teach guys material and lessons if all they're worried about are like subsidiary issues that aren't really issues. Things that are issues in their culture as opposed to an issue of Islam. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Guys are like divorce. I'm not shy to say it. I've said it. I said it on Twitter. Me and Becky are divorced. Now, dudes are like, "Oh my God, you mentioned your divorce." Let me ask you something. Where's the stigma in Islam on divorce? There's no stigma in Islam in divorce. It's an accepted part of the religion that we marry and we divorce. You can marry four women at once. You can divorce four women at once. Dude had a fit. This is a first-hand lesson. Dude had a fit. Um, Dude had a fit that I said I'm potentially marrying an Algerian and a Somali. Now he's like, you don't feel any shame in mentioning where your women are from or your future women might be from, but where Islamically is this a problem? This is 90, I'm just making these numbers, I'm just throwing them out there. This is the vast majority of the interaction with Muslims in the red pill scene. The vast majority of the Muslims are hung up on minor things that are from their culture as opposed to things that are actually from Islam. And so when you're trying to teach guys lessons, you can't get past that hang up. And so it's almost impossible to teach them because guys are just hung up on stuck on stupid stuff. Oh, well, no, it's not a problem, bro. But dudes are making stuff a problem because it's their culture. And they're dragging now their cultural hangups into the topics of Islam and into the subject of, trying to teach guys red pill and in a way that's Islamically acceptable. Because when you go out there in the world and you start listening to a lot of red pill material, most of it is not, you know, really what's the word? It's not really Muslim safe, in terms of the ethic codes and the morals of Islam and the Muslims, which was a gap I was trying to fill and trying to help brothers out. Because as I was saying on this Periscope that went bad, the vast, we're living in a time when the Muslims are divorcing at a rate that we've never seen before. We've got so many single mothers in Islam right now, and amongst the Muslims, we haven't seen this many single mothers uh, in Sorry, got distracted here. I'm like outside. What the hell is that all about? Ooh, my gosh. The things you see in Germany in summer. Uh, I'll leave that to your imagination. Um, Lower the gaze. What was I saying? Ah, yeah, single mothers in Islam. We haven't seen this many single mothers in Islam since we've seen like wars of jihad, where they were like taking over entire vast swaths of land and conquering lands, and men were being killed in huge numbers in battle. We have more single mothers in Islam now than they did back then, and we don't even have a war going on right now. These single mothers aren't from war; they're from just women being women of their time, and dudes are suffering from it. They want to try and keep their marriages together, don't know how to do it, and then they're just stumbling through the dark. And so I'm just trying. Yes, it is. It truly is. And so I'm just trying to give guys a little candle in all this darkness out there. And dudes are complaining that their eyes hurt because they're so used to the dark. And now you turn on this candle. And so now guys are trying to drag their whole cultural hangups into stuff that doesn't even oppose Islam. It's just it opposes their culture and their feelings. And this those who do not want to be helped and saved. If a guy comes to a swimming class and you're a swim instructor, and the guy's like, I'm not here to learn. I'm here to learn how to swim, but let me jump in the water. And then when I try and teach him how to swim, let me go. And he starts drowning. What do you do? He says he wants to learn how to swim, but then he's complaining about the way you're teaching him, and at the same time he's drowning. This is a practice in futility on my particular part. And to be honest, I'm at the point where it's like the potential and the earnings that I'm looking at from what I'm doing now in terms of business are far higher than anything Red Pill is ever going to give me. And so now I'm like, do I just give this up because I can't blame the non-Muslim guys for charging for their services and time, because you got a bunch of dudes out there that'll just waste your time. And that's what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with a bunch of Muslims who are really just wasting my time. I don't gain anything from this. The amount of money that I've made off of this is like a pittance. The more I focused on my real world stuff, the more money I've actually gotten recently. And so it's making me think that this is just a huge waste of time. And so I'm probably just going to change directions or just stop doing this stuff altogether, because it's a waste of time. The Muslims don't want to be saved. They want to suffer. Dudes don't want to learn how to live with women, how to stay married to your woman, how to vet women, how to pick the good ones from the bad ones. Guys enjoy the pain, and maybe they need to go through it. There's enough information out there that I don't need to be screaming into the void. Who needs to be saved? Nobody, because they don't want to be saved. The information's out there. All you got to do is take it and act upon it. And guys don't they want to complain about that. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing here is benefiting anybody. It's definitely wasting my time. Man, that's a nice Mercedes, man. Ooh, I might have to grab me something like that. I think that's the AMG. And it's the AMG C63. Look at that baby. Look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it. See that? 6.3 liter V8. Twin turbo. Them things got some go-go juice. I work with a guy's got one. I'm thinking about trying to pick one up when when my whole business here pops off. I'm gonna have to get one of those. I'm trying to remarry. You should keep going. Keep going. Stop. What? I'm trying to remarry. You should keep going. Stop. I don't understand. You should keep going. Stop. You'd have to rephrase that for me. But look, this is the point. You got guys out there who are looking for information and who want help and who need help. Some guys need it, some guys want it. And you got guys out there just gonna whine, moan, complain about anything and everything. And this is the vast majority of the Muslims. The vast majority of the Muslims, whether they're red pill or not, they're a bunch of SJW language control freaks. And when we talk about the leftist movement and why are there so many leftist Muslims out protesting with the homosexuals and this that the other, it's because of guys like this. Because when there's a counter culture and a counter narrative that's being produced out there to go against what what's going on in the Islamic Ummah right now, I wouldn't dude start whining, complaining, and moaning. But do you see them out there whining, complaining, and moaning when the SJW, hey, let's hang out with the transgender Muslims are out there talking? Where are they? Now all of a sudden these niggas ain't got a tongue. Now all of a sudden they quiet. You know why? Because the hottest of the hottest sisters are there, and they don't want to seem like they're making them upset. I can guarantee you, the guy that was complaining to me today about the language I use and talking about my divorce and the lessons that I learned from being married to Becky and divorcing her, I guarantee you, if I go online, that guy hasn't said a single word anywhere publicly against SJW. I'll bet you money on it. Okay, I won't bet you money because that's haram, but you know what I'm saying. I guarantee you. Dude, drop me a link on my Twitter. I know you're gonna watch this. Drop me a link, private message in Twitter, showing me where you said something against them. But I'm giving you solutions to try and help you keep your marriages together, maybe even get multiple wives. We got an entire degeneracy movement within Islam and the Muslims, and these guys will be silent about that. But then when you got someone out there trying to help you, and it makes you just a little bit uncomfortable to talk about truths that hit close to home. Now mofos all of a sudden, now they all up in arms. Now they all upset. Now they're all like, oh my God, how could you say that, bro? Do you think you should be saying these things? Yeah, inshallah, bro. But here's the thing, and this is my point. There's a lot of material out there already. I'm not really sure that what I'm doing is really going to have a benefit. You can technically extrapolate everything you need to know and filter out all the dirt from the kuffar. Just listen to the kuffar, man. Just go take it from them and filter out all their trash. Because when I try to do that for the brothers, they complain. You know what I mean? Traveling overseas is a good idea, but you got to get your mindset straight before you go, man. You can't travel overseas and have a bad mindset. I don't know how your mindset is, in regards to women and how you deal with them. But I'm just saying, get your mindset straight and then go over there and do it because women are women. You know, it was a funny question that was asked: can you trust women? Well, you can trust women to be women. So I don't know. Anyway, I think everything that a guy needs to learn can be learned from the kuffar. I mean, I did it, and it works for me. So, I mean, I think maybe I just need to leave dudes to their business. You know what I mean? Let them go out and handle it, man. Just go out, and in the proper understanding of the Aqidah, good luck. Just like little alien, just put him back in the boat in the Mediterranean. Hey, good luck, man. Here's your life vest. Enjoy the waves because I feel like I'm wasting my time and I'm wasting my breath. If guys can't extrapolate basic information from a basic, synopsis that I've put together, How do you help anyone? How do you save them? How do you deal with that? Someone tell me, because I don't know, and it's just immensely annoying. I find it annoying, you know. Now, am I gonna stop making videos? No, I'm probably gonna go into like business videos and whatnot, and my hobby videos, which is this right here in my backpack. I'm about to go flying. I'll probably go, because this is what I do. I'm gonna always produce some sort of content material. But really, at this point, I can get what I want, and I learned it. And I don't consider myself to be an exceptionally intelligent person. I really don't. I consider myself a very average, intelligent person. I'm not above average. I'm not below average. I'm just like that baseline, regular type of guy. So if I can figure it out, then you guys, dudes studying medicine and engineering and all this stuff, dudes should be able to figure it out on their own tune. I mean, it's a waste of time. Dudes are now just looking for reasons to nitpick at you, and it just gets old. I'm not letting people force me to quit, but it's just like y'all are a waste of time, man. And I'm just gonna say it. 90% of my viewership, 90% of you guys are a waste of time. You're just looking for a reason to come at me over some goofy stuff, and all I'm trying to do is help you. So I mean, I think you guys should be on your own. I think I need to like just start focusing on this business because it's more fun. When you start seeing the results and you start seeing like changes happening in your life, it's more fun than trying to help guys who are obviously in need of help and are obviously and are doing nothing else but complaining and whining and moaning while you're trying to help them. So I don't know, guys. It's something I'm gonna have to think about. I am gonna drop a synopsis on Becky and the divorce and whatnot. I'm gonna do that no matter what. But really, I'm tired of wasting my time. Like I said, years, like 6+ years maybe. It's not been 6 years. It's been about 4 years I've been doing this, and the results that I'm looking at from business, the business results I'm looking at from a few months are far more significant than the results I've been seeing from doing this red pill stuff for years. And so it's not really people driving me out, but it is people driving me out because I'm sick of like trying to teach people who don't want to learn and not seeing results either in the people or in myself in terms of income or anything like this. If you spend 5+ years doing something and you don't see results in those around you nor in your economics, but then you start doing something for 3 or 4 months and you start seeing results in those 3 or 4 months, you got to start reconsidering what you're doing. And I think if I was to just focus on straight hardcore non-Muslim content and just drop anything, any pretenses of trying to filter the language and filter this material for Muslim, non-Muslim, I'd make a ton of money and I'd make a ton of results and change people's lives. But Muslims don't want to. They don't want to learn because they don't want to be helped. They want to whine, complain, and just be victims. And that's what they are. The vast majority of Muslims are whining, complaining, moaning victims. And you can't tell me I'm wrong because look at the divorce rate. Look at how many brothers are online complaining about their wives and the way they're acting, that they're online, chatting with dudes, cheating with dudes, naming their kids after their ex-husband. This stuff is real. And when you try and help these guys, they want to, you just want to moan and complain and whine. It's just, I'm literally disgusted at this point, that the only lesson guys can learn is, oh, you said this like this, Abuamerican. Oh, well, don't you think that's a little off mark? Yeah, okay, well, when your wife's taking in the ass from Ahmed around the corner, don't come talking to me, okay? When your kid comes out with curly hair and everybody in your family and her family has straight hair, don't come talking to me, because Abuamerican tried to tell you, okay? Just saying. When that divorce comes out of nowhere, well, I don't know, she was just, and she ran off to her parents. Language boss that. Language control that. Go ahead and SJW language control that. Okay. Because I'm trying to give you guys the lessons that I've learned and how to spot the bad news on the horizon. So that when these behaviors start happening long before she ever takes action, you can see it. And oh my gosh, guys are just so caught up in it's goofy. It's just goofy. You're just goofy. Women, I understand, they have no logic center. It's all reaction. It's all, I always say men are like clockwork, and we're all gears and numbers, and women are all lights and flashes. I understand them because they're run by emotion. But guys, man, all this like just emotional semi-homo dude behavior is really starting to like make me sick. And you only see the Muslims doing it, man. You only see the Muslims doing it. And when I say you only see the Muslims doing it, I'm saying as a vast majority. With the kuffar, there's a clear line. You got these guys and those guys, and those guys over there are a bunch of little wusses. But with the Muslims, man, it's just like 90% of y'all are wusses, man. And it's really just hard to deal with. It's guaranteed. Yeah, a lot of it came to do with feminism, but it's like, what's that got to do with Muslims, man? Muslims, we ain't supposed to be on that stuff. We ain't supposed to be weak and soft. When did that happen? When did all this happen? And I keep a very small circle of Muslim brothers, and I remember why now. I left all these groups I was in with these guys because it's just like it's just a waste of time. I got what I wanted out of all this stuff. You guys need to figure it out on their own now, man. And so I'm thinking about just abandoning cats. I'm thinking about just abandoning dudes. I stick with my small circle of dudes, and if they need to know something, if they want to learn something, I can benefit them. But otherwise, the rest of these guys, man, I think they just need to be left to their SJW. You know, let's hang around and just moan and complain about the situation. Let's not have solutions. Let's just worry about like, oh my God, look, did you see what this sister was doing? That's what it is. There's a bunch of dudes, hanging around, dropping links about women doing women stuff. And then when you're like, hey, look, you know what? Here's an actual lesson that you can learn from. Oh my God, you said this. What do you think? Goofy, goofy, goofy. And how do you help people like that? How do you help people like that? Someone tell me. Because I don't know. I'm at that point where I'm just like, you know what? I should just straight market to Kufar and just cut all the language. And then I'm like, look, you Kufar want to bang hoes, this is how you do it. And then there's no pretenses about it. Everybody knows what's what. I'm trying to help Muslims. You want to get multiple wives? Hey, hit me up. We're going to teach you how to do it. You want to get a wife who's loyal to you? Let me teach you how to vet for that. Abuamerican, you said you were going to marry a girl from Algeria. Don't you think that's like dishonorable? People know where she's from. Bunch of whiny little wusses. And I'm just, man, I'm like up to here, like this, man. I can taste the vomit in my mouth. Anyway, I got to stop making this video because now I'm just getting upset. So this is your man, Abuamerican. Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. For now, all at Abuamerican. I don't care if you like or subscribe.